My boyfriend forgot to turn off his FaceTime with me. Hi, I'm Lisa, and I'm completely freaking out. Let me tell you what happened to me and how a little mistake led to me discovering a terrible secret. You see, I've been dating this guy for a few months now. He's really cool and sexy, but he's also a bit odd. I mean, even the way we met was really odd. I was jogging in the park when suddenly this tall, handsome man bumped into me. I fell to the ground, but just before I could hit the floor, this random guy caught me in his arms and carried me bridal style towards one of the nearby benches.
Are you okay?
He asked, and he spoke with this really thick accent, like Russian or something like that. I couldn't understand it, but it was clear that English wasn't his first language. Yeah, I'm fine. God, you ran right into me, I said. Not sure if I was mad or flattered. He was so handsome, and his smile was so enticing. I couldn't stop looking at him.
I know. I am very sorry. Please, let me make it up to you. I'll buy you lunch, yes?
He asked, and that little sexy grin made me melt for him completely.
I'm Dmitri. What is your name?
I'm Lisa, I replied, blushing and trying to play it cool. Well, I don't know if I can make it for lunch today. I didn't have much going on, but I wanted to make it seem like I was a busy woman, playing hard to get or something like that. He wouldn't take no for an answer.
No, I have hurt you. It's the least I can do, please, or I'll feel guilty all day.
He insisted, making me laugh. So I agreed to go out to lunch with him. And boy was he perfect. We spoke for hours and hours, and he really listened to me. He seemed unlike any other guy I had met before. Almost too perfect to be true, but I was blinded by how much I liked him. From that day on, everything moved so fast. We began talking every single day and went on dates like 3 times a week. He wanted to know everything about my life. Dmitri was always asking so many questions. What might have seemed suspicious under any other circumstances seemed like a great guy wanting to grow closer to someone he liked. I don't know exactly when we went from dating to becoming boyfriend and girlfriend, but it was super soon. I couldn't believe I had met someone so perfect so suddenly. One day I was feeling kind of lonely and had a hard time getting dates, and the next, here came my Prince Charming, literally sweeping me off my feet. Dmitri wasn't only sweet and caring, he also worried about my health and my family. You see, I was a college student and had a full-time scholarship. My mom had passed away when I was a little kid, and my dad was never really around. Dmitri asked me if I would like to reconcile with my dad, but I told him I'd never, ever talk to him again. He was really mean to me growing up, and he hurt my mom. No, as far as I'm concerned, I don't have any family at all. He hugged me and comforted me then, but I felt he was almost relieved about it. Perhaps he just didn't want to have to deal with the parents-in-law. Soon, I would discover it was far worse than that. Dmitri encouraged me to go to the gym, and he even paid for it out of his own pocket. I thought it was so sweet of him. He also began buying me pretty clothes and boosting my confidence. It was as if he was trying to turn me into the best version of myself that I could possibly be, and it seemed like a dream come true. I used to be a bit unhealthy, and that's the reason why I had begun jogging a few times a week. But ever since I began dating Dmitri, I was getting into really good shape, and I loved the way I look. That's why I was so surprised when one day I began getting suspicious that Dmitri might be cheating on me. You see, we FaceTimed often, just so we could talk through the day. This one time while we were chatting about our day, his landline phone rang. He told me he'd call me back soon and hung up. Or so he thought. Dmitri had unwittingly, simply set down the device, and I could still hear everything. I was about to hang up myself when I heard him say another woman's name as he picked up the phone.
Hi, Elena?
He spoke in his thick accent. I felt a pang of jealousy. I didn't know any Elena. Was my perfect boyfriend actually cheating on me? I couldn't believe it. I was so mad I wanted to scream at him. But instead, I remained quiet, deciding to find out more about what was really happening. They began talking. It didn't really seem like they were dating or something. He was super flirty with her, but not in a sweet way like with me. In an aggressive, almost arrogant way. I was so shocked. It didn't sound like the man I knew at all. I was about to hang up again, aware that my boyfriend was cheating. It was over now, and there was nothing else that I wanted to hear. What if he began dirty talking next? Ew, I couldn't handle that. But suddenly, I heard him say my name.
Yes, Lisa is almost ready, he said.
I gasped. Ready for what?
She's thin now, and her body looks like the client requested.
What? I didn't understand what was going on. My body was what the client requested? What client? Why did it matter if I was thin or chubby?
I think 2 more weeks. She'll be perfect. Then I'll ask her to go with me on that surprise romantic trip. The stupid girl will believe me immediately. She's crazy about me.
I covered my mouth as I felt my eyes filled with tears. What on earth was he speaking about?
It was worth the while waiting. We couldn't have sold her at such a good price back when she was chubby. Mr. Lee will love her. And transporting her to China will be easy in his personal jet. No one will ask a thing.
Everything suddenly made sense. The truth came crashing down on my head all at once. I finally closed the video call and began freaking out. I knew it seemed too perfect to be true. Dimitri didn't love me. He was just training me to be sold off as a slave. I didn't know what to do. I began pacing up and down my apartment, really freaking out. That's why I was so relieved that I had no family who'd be looking for me when I went missing. Finally, I managed to compose myself enough to understand what I needed to do. I called a cab and immediately went to the police station. I didn't even want to call 911 in case Dimitri came over in the meantime. I told the police everything. They didn't seem too shocked. Apparently, there had been such reports recently. A group of foreign men was attempting to kidnap young women and sell them off to Chinese investors. They asked me to set up a date so that they could catch Dimitri. I didn't want to ever speak to him again, but the police convinced me it would save lots of women. I couldn't believe it. They promised I'd be safe and took me to a hotel room where I'd stay until Dimitri was caught. It was so hard to call Dimitri and sound normal. He actually sounded so happy and told me that soon he'd have a surprise for me. I knew it was about the trip, but I played dumb. "I'll see you in the park tomorrow at 5 then?" I asked, trying to sound super sweet. He agreed, and I hung up, trembling like a little leaf. I barely slept at all for the whole 2 days, tossing and turning in my bed, and then pacing up and down my hotel room. Eventually, the cops that had listened to my story when I first arrived at the station came to my room.
"We've caught him and his accomplices, all thanks to your tip,"
he told me, and I couldn't help it. I immediately began weeping. The nightmare had finally ended at last, and I escaped a really terrible fate. The cop told me that I'd have to enter a witness protection program for my own safety. I didn't have many friends and no family at all to say goodbye to, so I agreed. Maybe a new life would be better than my last one. The people in charge of the operation have been super helpful, and now I'm living in a new and honestly better apartment. I have a new name as well, but I can't tell you what it is. My hair is shorter and was dyed a different color. I think it fits me better. I have since learned to be far more careful about who I trust. Believe me, I won't be making this kind of mistake again. Thanks for watching. Have you ever been contacted by a super sketchy person? Tell us all about it in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and check out other videos on the channel.